Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 116 of the High Sensitivity Gaming Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co-hosts.
My name is Craig. At what point do we give up on the numbers and just go to seasons? Because it's going to be a mouthful.
Ooh.
It's already on seasons. Like how we post our podcast is through Anchor. And
I'm talking about the way you say it, though. Like season 3, episode
like announcing
57, or there wouldn't be 57. 48.
Oh, I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe we have to see. I have to see how. To see if it I don't even know if like Spotify stores all of ours. Like, can you go from like 116 to 1?
Yep.
That kind of thing. So if like that's the case, I need to see when I hit the limit, or maybe I just like saying big numbers.
I mean, if you don't mind saying big numbers, go ahead.
I'll mess it up one of these days.
I mean, the seasons would make us seem more legit. Makes us seem more established.
We're on our 17th season.
Because then, like, if you have like, and longtime listeners can be like, "Hey, do you remember season 2? I just liked it. Like, it's the same as season 3, but they're a little bit more edgy."
Yep. They went through their teenage years in season 2.
Like yeah.
Well, if anybody's wondering, we're in season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
That's where we are.
Ooh, okay.
So
that's where most shows really blossom, like most television shows. That's where they really start to like amp it up and get the.
You got to reel them in with season 1, and then season 2 is building, and then season 3 is when everything starts to come together.
And it is. You're listening to this probably be the first time. The new logo's been revealed. We have a new logo on Twitter everywhere.
New logo.
I sat on a computer for 30 minutes talking to Spotify, trying to get Anchor to upload the picture, and it's finally there. It only took me 3 days to get it done. But
I knew it was so hard to change a picture.
I guess when like podcasting platforms and stuff, it's different. But it is made by ours truly, Craig, over here. OG original Craig. I'm not sure how we...
OG Craig.
Now that we got a new logo, then I can just start cranking out merch. So everybody needs to open their wallets.
Open their wallets. Once I get the
and their hearts
and their ears to listen.
Yes,
and their ears, of course.
And I'm sorry, I just straight up derailed us. Craig, you didn't even introduce yourself yet.
Oh no, we're good. I mean, technically, if one of us introduces ourselves, they introduce like another Craig. So like, I'm also Craig. There's another Craig here. Happy to be back another week talking about all things nerdy. For those of you YouTube watchers, my mic is slowly getting closer to my face, so who knows what next week will bring. But I'm happy to be here to talk about video games and movies and television
are called
shows.
Easter eggs.
It's the lore building of our podcast.
Yeah.
The lore.
Deep
Yeah.
If you look carefully, there's probably something in Barry's background as well that has moved. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Or changed. Yeah. Something did change.
There's some books.
Yes.
Is that new?
Yes,
look at
that. Books.
Oh, look at the
I think the one before it was the thing behind the books. And I'm sorry if you're not watching the YouTube, if you're listening. But it looks like a divider. Am I right?
Yes, it is. It is a divider.
Okay. Man, killing it.
Wow.
I don't think anything's changed in my background. I'm sorry. I'll move something next week.
Well, your background is like very well made and well produced, where mine's like in my bedroom where I'm trying to hide the fact that my bed's behind me, and
that just makes it real.
Yeah. It just lets you know I'm on the grind.
Yeah.
But you know what else is on the grind? The news this week.
Ching.
Oh boy, nice trend. Look at the segue. Look at the segue.
The news this week tends to focus on a lot of Switch stuff from what I seem to gather here. You know, we have a No Man's Sky coming to Switch. Me personally, do we need it? No. Does Switch need it? No. Do I care for it? No. But the memes that came out of the internet were pretty funny. I enjoyed everybody like saying my Switch when I put in No Man's Sky and then it blows up. I enjoy that just because it feels like, how is the Switch going to run No Man's Sky? How does it even begin to do that?
It's not.
And they did say single player only, right?
Yeah.
So it's not.
It's like running at 360p.
Yeah. Do you think maybe they scale down the planets or something, like the amount of them?
And probably the amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be like the creature.
Like, for something that ambitious, they got to cut all that out, or at least scale it like way down.
True. All right, I got a segue, Barry. You ready for this?
Shoot.
Speaking of scaling down.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16 will not be open world. Also, we'll have AI party combat and a mature rating. Look at that. I don't know if there's any other. I'm trying to think of other Final Fantasies that were mature. I think they're all teen, weren't they? Yeah.
They're all teen.
So we're getting a more mature story. The non-open world thing kind of threw me for a little bit. But I don't know. I guess we have to wait and see how they do that.
Well, based on comments that I've been seeing them playing, seeing them in interviews, is the fact that like Final Fantasy is very aware that this will probably be a lot of people's first Final Fantasy. So they, I guess, want to bring it back to their roots, which is all good. I prefer a linear Final Fantasy. Yeah. I didn't mind like the open world aspect sort of things when it came to 15, but having a lot more linear aspect to the game will allow me to probably enjoy more and stay on task more.
Agreed.
Yeah. The linear aspect of 13 was one of the things I actually liked about it. There's a lot of things to not like about 13. As you know, anybody who's played it is well aware, but I kind of liked that because of what you were saying, Barry, so I could stay on task. And you know, if you're going to give me like a side quest or some type of thing, keep it like within the realm of the section that I'm in, and then let me move on with it. I think it's a good move because, I mean, how many open world games are coming out and coming out and coming out? It's like a standard now. So I know it may not be necessarily with every fan be an accepted change, but as a person who's played, you know, at least every single player Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 7, like I'm all for that.
Yeah,
all for
I agree.
It'll still.
I was going to say, what do you guys think it does to deserve an M rating?
I don't think it's going to be an issue with language, just because it's like the more like medieval times, right? In quotations. So I don't think it's that. I think honestly, it's just going to be. I don't even think it's going to be over the top, but I think it's going to be like the blood and violence rating that a lot of things get. I feel like I don't know what else they could be doing. Maybe I don't
drugs
know.
Nudity.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Everything's been teen in Final Fantasy, and I don't see them having a reason to make a Final Fantasy game like extremely bloody. So I don't know.
You kind of have a feeling.
They've never needed.
I kind of have a feeling it's almost like the fight for how like Marvel wanted to get certain, or Marvel wanted certain movies to be rated R, but Disney wanted PG-13 for the sake of having kids come and be able to watch their movies. And you usually end up like with Deadpool, that was rated R, I believe. Logan, like you end up making a lot of money from those films because they're more adult-like and more adults will go see them. Because let's be honest, it's the adults that are taking their kids to the movie. So, based on that sort of thing, I'm kind of more excited for the game just because I'm hoping that maybe they take a really serious tone and really dig into the story of whatever this story is, to be honest. It seems like it's just Game of Thrones with like lightsaber, like flashy light battles in a way, because there's so much ember and sparks and stuff flying around in the trailers. It'll be just, anime.
Anime.
Yes, anime.
Yeah. Heavy emphasis on summons too. It's like a Godzilla game kind of battle, like the old Godzilla games, but like instead it's just Shiva and Ifrit like fighting each other, or like Bahamut. Like I don't know where they're going, but I want to see more of that whenever we get like more footage. Is like, how much are the summons going to be? I feel like every Final Fantasy like fan always tries to wonder, because they take it out of some, they put it in some. 15, you had to like have certain scenarios happen to even see it, and they were fantastic when they happened, but like I found myself in battles like trying to like force them because they look so cool.
I miss the days of like 7 through 10 where you could just summon it whenever like your meter filled up. You know, it was great.
I'm really hoping like it ends up like paying off with like these big gigantic maybe background fights going on while you're in like an intense boss battle. I don't know. As long as it's worth it, because maybe like what do I know? I'm not gonna bother. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just excited and happy for it. This adds to my excitement for it in general.
Yeah.
I had a side note just going back real quick to No Man's Sky. Did they slate it for October?
That's a good question.
Or I feel like that was in October. Because like if they do, while we're looking it up, like let's just talk about October 2022. All right, let's just have a conversation because even if you're a casual gamer, it's a big
October
month.
7th.
Like it's a huge month.
Yeah, October 7th.
Yeah, so all right, so we got No Man's Sky October 7th.
Nobody's going to buy.
We have no. We have a Plague Tale Requiem on the 18th. That's one of the things I got announced this week. I might be jumping ahead and I'm sorry. But that's No Man's Sky, Plague Tale Requiem, Overwatch on the 4th, Midnight Suns on the 7th, Forspoken on the 11th, Scorn, aka Barry's game, on the 21st.
Why is it my game? How did I
most excited?
How did I adopt this child?
It's your child. Your child's name is Scorn.
So edgy.
Gotham Knights, I think, is on the 25th. And then you have Modern Warfare on the 28th. I'm telling you, I'm playing Callisto Protocol when it comes out in December, no matter what. But I'm going to have to put down 11 video games to play a game in December. Like, that's a big October.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Plague's Tale, you'll be able to get through in probably less than a week if it's anything like the first one. That was a shorter game. Gotham Knights could be an issue because they did say the map is the biggest one they've ever done for a Batman style game. So you're probably looking at 20 to 40 hours, depending on how much you do. Scorn, I'm going to assume, is probably pretty short. It's a first person shooter technically. So what, maybe 5 to 10. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of stuff in October. We're going to be struggling to get through all those for sure. I think,
I'm excited.
Scorn, as far as that goes, Barry's going to play it for about 2 hours and then never touch it again. So that's
the scary thought is, and I was thinking about, for whatever reason, I thought of Scorn the other day because I was looking at a trailer and I was thinking like, wait, what if it's like BioShock and I like it? And I'm going to be really upset if that's the case. Like,
you're going to hate play it, but you'll secretly love it.
Yeah. Secretly love hate my child.
Get ready for mark out that number 1 spot on your list for the end of the year because it's going to be Scorn. Just keep that in your head, in the back of your mind, that no matter what game comes out, it won't beat Scorn. It won't.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for sure, especially considering all the games that are coming out. But back to the Switch, we had the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct.
Sorry.
Did either of you guys watch that?
Nope.
I did not get a chance to see it.
So it goes over. It's a JRPG on the Switch. It goes over pretty much what the story is going to be like, classes and how classes work and combat works. Overall, I was excited enough to go ahead and pre-order it. What I like about this one is that it seems to have gotten away from like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had this kind of gotcha effect where you went diving for these like gems or this material, then you'd go and kind of raffle off the material for a new like guardian to have summoned behind you. It seems like they're doing away with that. It seems like it's classes, party management, and everything like that, which I like. There's a lot of synergy between all the party classes, and the characters can switch classes if you want them to. So it seems pretty in depth. It's one of those 100-hour things on Switch. I wish it was on a Switch Pro, but it's not going to be. And with that, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that direct showed me enough that I'm like, okay, I'm excited for it. And that comes out July. That comes out next month. So I'm happy to have something to look forward to play as of right now, because everything else is like in next, it would be August is when the next thing I want comes out.
Yeah, what was the last one that came out? Was that the definitive edition
of Xenoblade Chronicles 1? That was the remaster of like Shulk, like the main titular character of the Xenoblade series.
Have you? Okay. Did you finish the other two?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you played through them or not. I don't think I played them at all, honestly.
I got one. I got further on than two, and it was just a matter of like one was kind of boring, I think, to me. I really didn't care for Shulk, to be honest. So that's why I'm more like excited for 3. It's got original characters from what I can tell, and they always seem to support these games. Eventually DLC comes out for them, so they have to do well, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm assuming it sells well. Maybe not in the States, but probably overseas. I'm sure it's selling pretty well. I just never had any like real desire to try them. But I mean, is there anything specifically that would set it apart from like a Final Fantasy? Doing anything different?
I don't know about setting it apart. Like the thing is their combat is a mix of like turn-based and like real time, where you're picking your attacks and like your character automatically attacks, but then you pick special moves using the buttons. But you can move around the battlefield to position your, healer in the back, your tank in the front, your, damage guy on the side of the beast and stuff like that. So it definitely seems like this one has more of like that focus, but the other Final Fantasy games have had that. It does seem that this Chronicles 3 game does take advantage of, like, depending on where you are, you might be able to topple an enemy or there are weak spots on an enemy. So if that's the case, positioning probably matters more than in most games.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the question I was going to have for you, because, like, I was wondering how the battle system, if they did anything different to, like, elevate it from the last game, besides, like, the auto attack, but then you are selecting more powerful attacks. So, like, you basically answered the question just now, because, like, that was going to be my next question, is, like, that's what made the first one with Shulk that I played, like the re-release or the definitive edition or whatever they called it, that's what made it stale for me after, like, the 50th hour, was, like, the auto-attacking. Like, just auto-attacking. And, like, you could obviously have some type of sway in what you select, but that's what turned me off, like, 20 hours probably before I finished the game.
Yeah, I'll probably just stay away from it then.
The game.
Anytime you say, like, real-time strategy, I'm always like, man, I don't know about that. That's like a big no for me. All right, I got one that I thought was interesting, and everybody loves diving back into the world of Cyberpunk. So let's do that, because greatest game of all time, right?
Let's do it.
So this past
hear
week,
Rachel in the distance.
Yeah, you can. She's being summoned. She's going to pop up in one of our backgrounds. All right, so there was a 72-page document that was leaked by a whistleblower, anonymous whistleblower, and I want to give credit to the YouTuber Upper Echelon Games, because they're the ones who broke this story. Basically, it has to do with the Q&A testing for Cyberpunk, and we all know how bad the bugs were when the game came out, and this kind of goes into why the bugs were bad. So the company that was doing the Q&A testing is Quantic Lab. They were the ones who were hired. A couple things that came out of this was, one, they over-exaggerated the size of the team working on Cyberpunk in order to keep the contract. So they said they had more people working on it than they actually did. Second thing here, Quantic Lab said that the team was made up of mostly senior staff. It wasn't. It was made up of people with under 6 months of experience in Q&A testing. So it was a lot of new people. It was less than they said. And the other big thing here was that they had a daily quota of the amount of bugs that they were supposed to report for each person. So that led to a flood of bugs that were being sent to CD Projekt Red to check out that weren't necessarily the big bugs, because these people were just trying to do their job and fill their quota for the day of, like, maybe it was 20 or 30 bugs you were supposed to find every day. Not saying that it's entirely that's the reason the game shipped in such a bad state, but I think it kind of helps to look at, like, it's probably part of the reason it came out like such a mess. So I thought that was kind of interesting that came out, and also that it took so long for it to come out. But it could be a disgruntled employee who was fired from this Q&A tester, or maybe somebody's like, you know what, the truth needs to be told. This is important news here. But either way, it's a kind of an interesting look at why the game was as bad as it was at launch.
That is. That's actually very interesting, especially I think the quota part. I mean, obviously exaggerating the size of your staff and just exaggerating like really anything about the creative team involved. But if you're going to have people who are looking for bugs have a quota, like
not the best idea.
That's what they're going to do. No, quotas are for salespeople, yes, and such like that. But like, you can't put a quota on specific jobs, or you're going to get a result like that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, they should have hired us, right, Perry?
Yeah, they should have. We would have found them all. We would have found every bug and single-handedly saved Cyberpunk 2077 from the disastrous launch that it suffered through.
Game of the year.
We would have worked in 19-hour days, at least 19-hour days.
I would have worked 20-hour days.
Oh, I would have worked 21.
Damn it! I need at least 4 hours of sleep.
I need.
That's fair.
Crunch, baby, crunch time.
Don't say
crunch
that word.
Time.
Fair
what
enough.
else we got?
I was going to say I'm just going to keep continuing the Switch train here. I just want to get the Switch train.
Take the Switch train.
There's rumor of another direct coming with focus on third-party games, and those third-party games.
That's not Zelda.
Apparently, we're supposed to be getting news about a Persona type game coming to Switch. Fans have been longing that for a while. Another 100-hour JRPG to play on Switch. Like, Persona isn't that like demanding of a game, I don't think. Like, it is large. It's a large file size, I believe, with a big update. So, if it is in fact Persona 5, great for Switch players. Great for Switch players who finally get to have a hold of it. And with that announcement, it would make sense because, you know, Xbox is also finally getting Persona 5. So maybe it's a dual release on Xbox and Switch.
Are you gonna buy it?
Yeah.
Just did you hear the volume in his yep? Like just like yep. Like it just kind of
causing the problems
just
here.
Like snuck out.
That. I am the problem.
You've already if it's Persona 5, you've already played it. You already own it. Why buy it again for an inferior console?
Yes. On the go.
You're not going to play it on the go.
Why wouldn't I?
You're not going to.
There's no way you're playing this game again on the go with all the other games you have to play.
What if I don't have a choice?
It would take you a year. What if you don't have a
choice? Because you guys remember like times when I go to visit my family in Costa Rica, I don't have another game console on me, so like I plow through Switch games. A 3-week vacation into Costa Rica where I'm visiting my family, and I would probably end up beating Persona in 3 weeks. If
how many times have you beat? How many times have you beat Persona?
Persona Vanilla and Persona 5 Royal. I only beat it twice.
Okay.
Just twice? Okay.
I don't know. I don't think we need it, and especially not on the Switch. I think you're going to run into issues again where it's not going to run the way it was intended, and I just don't see the point. I mean, I do see the point because there are people who only have a Switch, and there's probably a small percentage, and I mean very small, who will want to play this game. So I guess that's a reason.
I mean, I also I know what it looks like. I mean, I've played 5 and Royal, and it looks good when I played it on a PlayStation. I mean, like for me, 60% of Persona, at least Persona 5, 60% of me was the music, and then the other, like besides story, it was like the visuals as well, because it has a very specific art style. I just don't know how that art style it'll look better on the Switch on the go, which inevitably is what you're trying to use it for,
I guess.
But I'll just explain that's explaining why I wouldn't buy it, is because I'm primarily a dock player. I don't really do a lot of portable switching, if I could make up a verb for this moment here. So like I wouldn't get it. It's also going to be on Game Pass. I also own it.
You can get it for like $10 on PlayStation.
Oh well, it's for the regular version's free with PlayStation Plus. It's one of the
true.
PlayStation Classic games.
Yep. Never mind. You don't even have to pay for it on Xbox or PlayStation, so you don't need it on Switch.
But I do.
You don't need. No, I don't.
But I see why you're getting it. Becky.
Next.
I see why you're getting it.
He doesn't want to talk about anime.
No, I don't. I've tried Persona multiple times, and it's just not for me. But I understand why it's such a good game. I can see it. It's just not for me.
Because of that game, I will now play everything Atlas puts out. Like I went from that to Catherine Full Body, and I am now like I'm waiting for Persona 4 to just come on Game Pass so that I could just play it, because I'm gonna go back now. I'm gonna like Persona back, because like whatever Atlas does now, like is gonna raise my eyebrows, and that's specifically. But that was my first Atlas game, so like I was like.
So are you playing Soul Hackers 2?
I'll tell you what. I am going to acquire it using funds that I've made at my job. Yes. I know that was a long way of saying yes, but like I will buy it. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to finish it or even that I'm going to necessarily like it, but I am committed to giving Atlas my cash is what I'm saying, so that they can remain a developer and a studio. Because they're I'm
awesome. Looking through the list of games they've put out, and the only one that I've played through to completion is Catherine. That's the only one.
And which is an oddly specific game.
That game's great.
That game is awesome. It is. But like I would never think that would be somebody's only beaten Atlas game. Like cuz like I could see how people would shy away from that one. That one's pretty It's on par with what they do, but
it's weird, and also it's a puzzle game
for them. Yes,
but yeah, that's the only one I've beaten. I've tried not most, but a lot of Atlas games, but I've never finished them except for Catherine.
That's also the Atlas game that would be closest to a Souls-like game, because that game was frustrating.
Yep,
it was so frustrating.
Soul Hackers 2 is my birthday game.
Just bringing it back to
Next.
Soul Hacker. What else we got?
Oh, well, no, that's it for Switch, and I interrupted you, so go ahead. Go ahead, Craig.
Oh no, we have no more Switch news. Okay. I'm more of a rumor mill this week. There is the rumors that are coming out that Grand Theft Auto 6 has possibly, and like it's not even grain of salt. It's just laughable, so I have to talk about it. Is the rumors it's coming out 2024. And yeah, and there's also a rumor based that it's going to be a redemption tale with a brother and sister involved. So instead of our 3-character GTA 5 lineup switching between, there's talks about a brother-sister, like kind of like them against the world kind of thing.
Have you ever played as a female in a Grand Theft Auto game? I don't think you have, right?
No.
I'm trying to go 4
no,
5 no, 3 no, Vice City and San Andreas no, Liberty City and Vice City no. The one on the DS no. I don't think so. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember playing as girls in Chinatown, so
no. Yeah.
That would be the one odd one out, but I don't remember. I don't think so.
Interesting.
Between 3, Vice, and San Andreas, did we have the what's your favorite Grand Theft Auto talk recently? It's Vice for me too. I just wanted to know where you other guys stood. Like nobody's going to say 3. No. So is it San Andreas or Vice City, Barry?
I never played them.
Yeah, he hasn't played them.
Oh, that's right.
San Andreas is good. I think what holds that one down for me is the exercise portion of it. I hate it. I think it was such a stupid decision.
Oh yeah.
If you don't bike enough or walk and run enough, you get fat. So stupid. So dumb.
Yes. Yeah.
But that game is good, and I think the voice acting in both is good, but I think San Andreas is better. But good.
Speaking of segues, like we were doing earlier, I just didn't want to miss this opportunity because we were talking about Grand Theft Autos. The rumor mill
Spin it up.
is also has been releasing pictures of the canceled Scarface game that was supposed to be like set for 2008, which has been bringing up talks that it's coming back and it's going to be a thing. Like there's going to be a second Scarface.
I've never heard
game.
of this.
First one's good.
First one's good, and it's, if you haven't seen Scarface, I'm sorry, I'm about to ruin it, but like it's if he survived and if he decided to continue his empire and get revenge on whomever, not on whomever, on who was trying to kill him. So like the reason why I bring it up as a segue is the like, again, none of this is like actually credible, but like it's just rumors, and you know how many rumors circulate throughout the gaming community. But it's rumored that it may have a Vegas theme, which reminded me of how much I liked, because like Godfather and Godfather 2 are two of my favorite movies, and it was really interesting when he took his empire and tried to and like took over Las Vegas, or like that attempt to take over Las Vegas. Like that's an interesting thing for me. And when I saw that rumor, it made me think of Vice City, because I liked that specific time frame and how cities looked.
Neon,
you know, like that was one of the, that neon aspect, and not just like present day 2022 neon Vegas, but like back in the
80s,
day,
70s, 80s.
70s, 80s, like that era. And then I think I had one more. Unless you guys had something you wanted to say about Scarface 2.
Godfather 2, that game was fantastic for Xbox, and that was 360 and PS3 era. That game was great. But anyway, that was a side note.
I have nothing to add.
I mean, gangster games are good.
Yeah, they're always good. Mafia, they're all good.
Yeah. And then FromSoftware announced on Twitter that they are already like hiring. So this is going to be like, for anybody who likes FromSoftware, this is good news. They announced on Twitter that they're already hiring a bunch of staff for their next projects. Like they're staffing up. Clearly, the time frame between Elden Ring's release and its success and where we are now, like that's promising, because it looks like they're just kind of going to a bunch of different projects. They've also like hinted that their next project is like going to be completed within the near future. And what the speculation is that's a new Armored Core. Okay. Or I think it's Armored Core. But I got excited and I had to write it down, because like hearing that FromSoftware is just staffing up, like, you know, when you hear about the staffing up rule like that, or the staffing up like call to arms, I want as many people working in that studio as possible, because they just keep throwing gems out and just asking us to just break our controllers while we play them. Fair. So like that was the other thing that kind of just like made me go like, like I'm really excited now. But that's all I have for news. The other thing we already talked about, which was not Overwatch, No Man's Sky.
Yep.
For Switch.
I'm good too.
Okay, so then the last one I have is also a part of the rumor mill, where PS5 is supposedly supposed to be leaking new headsets. 3 different tiers of them. There's like a 5,000, 7,000, and a 9,000 series of headset. Maybe these new headsets are to go with the PSVR 2 that could be coming out later this year. We're not still yet completely sure whether or not, because they haven't released a date. But if you're in the market for a new PlayStation headset, maybe wait and then see. Like the 3D Pulse headsets are really good headsets to begin with. I have no issues with mine. But if these are like these top of the line, like high wire Dolby Atmos headsets, I'll probably give them a shot.
I have so many headsets, it's insane that like I don't need more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, could be cool. Yeah,
but if it looks cool.
Probably have the same color scheme as the controllers and the face plates, right, for the PS5. If I can get a light blue or purple, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I would agree. But
did you guys snag faceplates?
I'm not paying that much. Are you kidding me?
PS5s? I did.
You're the problem as well. You both are the problem.
I am the problem.
The faceplates look good, but like just for me, I just don't feel like it. Like I don't look enough at my PlayStation to go, man, I wish that was insert blank color here.
Right. I agree.
I'm usually looking at, you know, the TV and the home theater system that I spent thousands of dollars on to get my games looking as good as possible. So that's
they announced that, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get that blue or purple one for sure. And then when they said the price, I went, never mind. It is not like, to me, that's like a $20 or $30 item, right? It's plastic. 57, they're out of their minds.
I wonder what themed one. If they release themed ones, like let's say for like the next Spider-Man and Miles Morales game, like are they going to charge like $100 for it or something like that because they're themed?
No, because they like their themed console bundles. So I feel like they would keep it exclusive to that. Like you can't buy that faceplate; you have to get the Miles Morales PlayStation. You know?
Yeah. Maybe, I guess we see, but. That's all for news from me. Let's go ahead and go to games played this week, where we officially have Fire Emblem 3 Warriors 3 Hopes coming out, which is what I played. What about you guys?
I am playing some Demon Souls on PlayStation 5. I played some of that Fall Guys on the Xbox, since it's out on the Xbox now. And then also on the Xbox, I played something from Game Pass called Disc Room that I have to talk about. What about you, Craig?
Okay. So Craig, I kind of went into your PS Plus idea, like just like the library idea last week. And I not only recently upgraded finally, like I'm a member, like I got the best one. So like I just did it. And I did it, and you'll appreciate this, Craig, because you were talking about like your feelings on Dark Cloud. I did it specifically just to play Dark Cloud. I just did Norrune Village. Like, we'll talk about it, but like I did Dark Cloud and then Shadowrun. I'm doing the Shadowrun trilogy because that came out on Game Pass.
Okay.
Well, you guys definitely played more games than me, so I will let you guys talk about the games you did, because I kind of talked about Fire Emblem last week. I was a very bad gamer this week because I've been trying to work on those Twitch.
That's fine.
Twitch transitions, so.
Yeah, well, Barry, we'll forgive you because Soul Hackers 2 and Scorn aren't out yet, so that's why you have
saving it up.
Yeah, give me some time here. I am trying to decide, like, for stream-wise, and I guess I'll get your two opinions on it, is I'm trying to decide between playing Nier Automata, like getting some of the multiple ending type stuff and streaming it, or I could finally start Red Dead Redemption 2. Which everybody tells me is a fantastic game.
I won't tell you that.
It is.
Okay.
I hated it.
There's big things that are annoying about it, but I think it's good enough.
I was going to say I'm staying away from the online portion of things, if that's what you mean, Craig.
Nope,
but
not talking about that at all.
Okay. I do worry about my PS4 Pro. To be completely honest, I was playing Nier Automata, and like I put my hand just to check the temperature, and I'm like, oh, this thing's getting hot. Like I gotta worry about my limited edition Kingdom Hearts 4 PS4 Pro.
Just put some ice packs on it. You'll be good.
Yeah. There you go.
Wrap it in cold towels.
Yep, that works, right? Cover up the vents with cold towels, and you'll be fine.
But you guys go ahead.
Okay. I can get all right. Fall Guys. Everybody here has played Fall Guys, right? Okay.
Yes.
So it is out on Xbox. I believe it's out on Switch. Is it out on Switch too now?
Yep. Yes. And then on PlayStation, like it's added to your like crossbar, your main menu thing. Like it's not even asked to do so. It's just there now.
Yeah. The last time I played this was when we were squarely in the middle of the pandemic, right? When we were all stuck at home.
At the height of Fall Guys.
Yeah. Right, and I didn't touch it since because I was so annoyed with that game, and I got so angry playing that game. I had never won at that point. So I played, like, I think 10 games so far. I did win one, finally, so I have that out of the way.
Won. He has won.
It took, 2 years? But anyway, I will say that I think it's got a big jump up in people playing because it is out now, but I still had some issues with finding 60 people. Like it was taking a little bit of time. So that's not good news. The amount of different stages now, which was one of my biggest complaints before, was that there was like 5 stages and you just kind of cycled through them. Not the case anymore because they got a ton. So that helps. But I just don't know. I don't know what the player count was before it came to Xbox and Switch. At this point in time, it's probably not insanely high. So I don't know if like 2 weeks from now, is anybody going to be playing this on Xbox? Like, how many people do you think actually downloaded it this week? Because they're like, oh, Fall Guys is on Xbox. Am I like the only one? Probably.
No, like especially from like creators on YouTube and everything like that. Like I subscribe to a bunch of YouTubers that now are putting out Fall Guy content, probably because they're paid for it or maybe advertised for it. Yeah. But it seems to be the game has gotten a little bit of a glow up now because a lot of people are either jumping back into it or playing it for the first time. But I think now that it's gone free to play, you have the benefit of having the kid crowd being able to play it because they don't have to ask for your mom and dad's credit card. Unless you want some really weird, stupid skin a lot of the time. So
yeah, and the amount of like crossover in this game is pretty crazy too, right? Like I saw Assassin's Creed. I know there's Nier stuff on there. It's pretty wild, the amount of stuff that you can get for your character. But again, like, am I going to touch this a week from now? Probably not, unless people are like, oh, let's play some Fall Guys. Then I might. But like, it was nice to kind of jump back in and get that win off my back, right? So I don't have to be like, I never won at Fall Guys. So at least that's out of the way. But the amount of stages is good, but other than that, like nothing has changed that I could see in the past 2 years. Major, like they haven't innovated in any way that I've noticed. But
like I do see that they've added some like new like decent things. Like it looks like there's a new like Mario Kart track type of thing.
Yeah, you have like now. Gates you go through and it speeds you up and you do laps.
Exactly. Yeah. Good for them. Like I think Fall Guys has a niche that is that I missed. It was a matter of like I remember on the old Xbox like Doritos Crash Course.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's what this game reminds me of. Is like the Doritos Crash Course or 1 versus 100 like weird Xbox mini games. Where this is more of a game based on a bunch of other, mini games in order to win. I find some enjoyment out of that. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Fall Guys because I continuously have a growing backlog, but Fall Guys. I liked that game. I never hated it. I thought it came out at the perfect time.
It did.
Right after Among Us, needed to slow down.
Yeah, it was those two. It was those two. Like when you were playing, I don't know about y'all, but I played my first like 3 or 4 games of Fall Guys. I played with people who weren't even gamers. Like I had friends in the beginning of the pandemic that were looking for that social connection, like everybody else was, and they were like, "I'll try it. Fall Guys is cute. I'll try it." Like it's let's see if we'll win. We'll see if like they were saying that in the lobby. Like we'll see if we'll win. Like let's try to win it. Well, let's beat everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's the kind of game it was, but like, it's been a while since that it had its like storm on the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's on the Switch, by the way, too. I just can't stand when they put like specific, like that's.
I don't necessarily hate it like on the Switch. I think it makes more sense than some other games like No Man's Sky, but
like No Man's Sky.
I would not want to play that game handheld with those Joy-Cons because I would snap them in half.
but also the online communication interface on Switch is still not good.
It's by far the worst out of all of them.
So like you got to wait in the lobby, and then you gotta like as far as like the communicative
get on your phone
of the game, you gotta get on your phone. I mean, like. But to be fair, in Fall Guys, it is very easy to be out of the runnings very quickly. So I guess you can grab your phone when you place very low in it. But like Nintendo has to work on that too. Well, they're never going to do whatever they want. They're making they're making so much money they don't even have to. Like at this point, we could just complain about it every week. But But anyway, sorry, that was a derail there.
You want to hit us with one of yours that you were playing this week?
I feel like maybe a lot of people are aware of Dark Cloud. I can do Shadowrun. I mean, Shadowrun, so it was developed by Harebrained Scheme Studios. What I like about this particular genre is I've been searching for an XCOM 2 Mario plus Rabbids because the new one hasn't been given a date yet. I've been searching for that kind of tactical turn-based like role-playing game. Now, like I didn't know, and like it's kind of funny just like how big of a nerd you can be, what you still don't know. I was not aware of how popular the Shadowrun tabletop game was like back in the day. Because I did like a little I looked it up to like figure out where this came from. Like, because to me it came out of nowhere.
And there's like 3 or 4 of them on Game Pass, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 3. There's Shadowrun Returns, which is essentially just a re-release, like essentially. But I mean they're technically all re-releases, but Shadowrun Returns, and then Dragonfall is the second one if you want to play it in order. And then there's one set in Hong Kong, and that one's escaping me right now. But essentially, all 3 are standalone games. You don't have to necessarily start anywhere, but this trilogy is giving me a Mass Effect feel, which is where you don't have to play the first. You should play the first game for the story and for the references and for the character development and the build. But some people who played all 3 will tell you to just play Dragonfall and the 3rd installment because the first one has all the bugs, or at least has more bugs. It's a cyberpunk like type of world. Basically, you're a shadow runner, which you find out that a friend has died, and you're going back, and last thing he leaves you is essentially when he died, there was a message that was turned on that was given to you, and you're essentially trying to find this killer. As you go on more missions, you find out that there's a grander scheme into play, essentially basically just like a cult type of thing that was surrounding, and his death leads you to figure out all of that stuff. Story's fine. The gameplay is what I like, because I am the kind of person who does like I have to select where my character moves and what type of protection they're hiding behind, so that I can select a move. I only have a certain amount that I can do in this turn, and then I have to wait for the enemy's turn. Like it's a step above a standard RPG for me, because what you're essentially doing is you have to be mindful of where your characters remain, and like my turn is over, so like what is the devastation that's going to happen to me when the other 5 people go all at once? Have I used the terrain properly? Have I used like all of those type of things properly? Visually, it's pretty beautiful. Like for its time frame, and like what they were able to do, it's got like 40% of an oil painting vibe to me, if I could use that to describe it. But I beat the first one. I mean, the first one is only, it took me like 15 hours, maybe 20. This is what I will tell you though. There is no voice acting.
So you must read.
It's all reading. You must read, and you must read a lot. And you must have the attention span at certain moments to maybe read for a couple.
Were you about to say hours?
But like, wow. I was going to say hours. I was going to say a couple of scenes and hours came out, but like, let's say there's going to be a time where there might be 15 to 20 minutes where you might be traversing your hub area and reading. And I understand what the people were saying about the first one. The first one does not have any real character development. You create your character from the start. You choose from 5 races that all now exist in this time frame, and it's like familiar ones: human, elf, orc, troll, dwarf. And then you choose your classes. Now that's the cool part, because they have like, your standard melee classes. You have a mage class, but you have what are called deckers. Deckers essentially tap into the matrix, and like, long story short, it enables you to tap into a separate world that's kind of like a Tron world. and you can obtain extra information, items, and stuff like that by doing it. It's good. Like, I was patient with it, is what I'm saying, because I knew that the second and the third one, which I've already started the second one, were going to deliver more. But if you like that type of style, if you've played like a Mario plus Rabbids or an XCOM, any XCOM before, it's good and it's free. It's free. I liked it. I would give it, if I don't like to do the out of 10 thing, but I'm gonna do it here. I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
Slightly above average.
Slightly above average.
6 Craigs out of 10.
6 Craigs out of 10 Craigs.
That's a lot of Craigs.
That's a lot of Craigs.
Okay, so Disc Room, which is also on Game Pass. This is a game that, like, I always tend to go through and download everything that's new on Game Pass. I'm like, download. I did download the first Shadowrun, and I played like 10 minutes and went, nope, not for me. Yeah. I got through like the first battle, and I was like, this game is not for me. But anyway, Disc Room. First of all, this game looks like a Flash game, like you would play like back in like early 2000s, right? On like Battlegrounds or something. But anyway, it's basically just series of rooms where you have to, every room has different goals that you have to do. So it'll be like, all right, survive 10 seconds. And each room will have different types of discs, like saw blades that you just have to avoid. Super simple. And it'll be like, all right, in this room, avoid 10 seconds. In this room, avoid 15 seconds, but there's a circle in the middle of the room that you have to be inside for the counter to work. And then you'll get to certain rooms and there'll be bosses, and there's different things you have to do to beat the bosses. Super simple concept, super simple look, but super addicting. Been playing it a ton just because it's one of those games like, Barry, I'm forgetting the one that we just played a ton of on Game Pass. Vampire Stories, right?
Yes, yeah. Vampire Survivors. Yep.
Yes, Vampire Survivors. Give me a super simple concept and let me go. And it's like the ultimate turn my brain off and let me avoid razor blades. And I'm in. Saw blades, whatever. So, I mean, it's like less than a gig, this game. It's real small. So you can download it in like 30 seconds and go to town. Ultimate, like, end of the night stress reliever for me. Just to be like, yeah, I'm going to play like 10, 15, 20 rooms and just do it that way. Cool. So I've been super cool with that one. That one's pretty fun.
Okay.
What else we got? Barry, you want to do yours?
It's Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. It's kind of it's kind of more or less what I've expected from the demo. The demo really didn't show me anything new.
Wait, are you saying you don't like a Fire Emblem game?
What I'm saying, and what I'm going to go into, because I've watched a lot of reviews on it, because I am like this sort of flippy floppy sort of thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of the reviews don't mention how the game looks, which really surprises me, because the game doesn't look great. If you guys download the demo, you guys can see exactly what I mean. It's not the greatest looking game in the world, and nowhere near the greatest looking game on Switch. I think for the most part, like, this game is specifically toward Fire Emblem fans, specifically Fire Emblem Three Houses fans. Like, this is a type of game, and like it's not really a surprise to anybody, considering that it's a Warriors game. But Warriors, the original, felt like a celebration of Fire Emblem, with a bunch of characters throughout a bunch of different Fire Emblem games, where this one, like, you have to be involved, you have to almost have a connection to the characters in Fire Emblem Three Houses in order to play Three Hopes, because you don't have like the history of Fire Emblem to go off of. It's just the characters. You have to play with the characters you loved in Three Houses, and that's not bad, but like, the characters just all have the same quirks. Like, they're still the same people. It's just a different timeline where it's the main character, Byleth, is now the villain, and you're this other character named Shez, which Shez, really? But it's a Fire Emblem Warriors game. Like, I do admit that they do streamline some things to where, like, combat can be how you want it. Combat can either be something where, like, out of game, you're like meticulously trying to figure out what's best, or you can just literally press a button and it'll pick all the best equipment for your best for the people on the field, which is what I want. Like, it needs to be a mixture of complex and easy, because for the most part, like, you're there for the new character interactions, and you're there to be killing thousands of enemies and, you know, doing 3,000 hit combos kind of thing. It's a Fire Emblem Muso game. You're playing it because you have a connection to the characters in Three Houses. I think if you're like a regular Muso fan, I don't really think there's any way you would play this game over just another regular Muso Samurai Warriors.
Okay. So it's mediocre or below mediocre?
I think it's mediocre for most, and for me, it's like what I want because it's more Fire Emblem characters. So that's.
So you're
talking, yeah, because you're talking to someone who's played all of the paths in Three Houses. I've played, you know, all 4 paths, played all the DLC stuff, so I just get to see more of the characters I like. Other than Lorenz. Lorenz sucks.
Lorenz.
Okay.
You know what? You know what they should do? If they want to make every Warriors game better, they should just put Lu Bu in every Warriors game.
You've completely lost me. I have no idea who Lu Bu is.
Lu Bu?
Oh, I'm thinking like from like Musou, like back in like the Warriors games, like the Shahodun where they do like the three dynasty thing, like that particular one, like that. Those are the ones I used to play. Like before, it kind of defined what the Warrior-esque genre is today, which is walk into a level and then destroy 500 of the same cookie cutter Stepford Wives house like type of enemy, like, you know what I mean? And then there's a boss or two and then you're done, but you're like you like fighting with like characters from like ancient history, like that type of thing, like the Ming Dynasty and all that. But like Lu Bu was like this awesome dude from like those games that I used to like always love.
This dude's character design's nuts. He's got like 2 long feathers coming out of the top of his head. He's
Lu Bu.
Yeah, you know what he was? He was like anytime Akuma shows up and you're like, I love Akuma. Like Akuma's gonna kill me. Like that's what Lu Bu felt like. Is like every time he showed up, he was like basically Akuma, and I was like not ready for him. But anyway, that was a insane digression, and I'm sorry about that.
I used to love those Dynasty Warriors games on like PS2. Oh man,
they were great. So much fun. Dynasty Warriors 4 was arguably one of the best of them. That was back when I still called him like Cow, and I learned I should be saying like South, like there was like different ways to say it, like, you know, that I wasn't saying correctly because I'm an American and we say everything incorrectly, even if we try to say it correctly.
So how many out of 10 berries is Fire Emblem?
I think for most people, for me, it's like a 9. For everybody else, it's like a 6.
You sounded like you hated it, and then you just gave it a 9.
I know, and then you gave it a 9.
I'm biased.
You spent that whole time being like, it's all right. It's more of the same. 9 out of 10.
Because IGN. I don't want people to take my 9 out of 10 and be like, oh, Barry loves this game, I gotta go get it. No, that's not the case. That's not something, because again, I'm pointing out things that in reviewers I haven't seen, like, you know, so it's a mixture of all these reviews, and the reviews are pretty high. They're all reviewing it like 8, 9, or 7 out of 10s. So I think like non-biased score, which is what I want you guys to take it as, it's a 6 or a 7. In Barry's score, it's a 9.
Well, like the voice you had was a 6 out of 10 Barry's voice when you were
definitely was. It was like it's all right. That's what I thought you were going to say, like 5.
You know,
I got to keep you on your toes.
I guess so.
You kept us on our toes.
All right. Do you want to go, Craig, about Dark Cloud, or do you want to do it after I do Demon Souls? It's your choice.
I almost want to play. Let's because like I only played like a couple hours of it. I could do Dark Cloud next week because I want to hear your take on Demon Souls, and I don't want to talk a lot about Dark Cloud until I go through like another level. It's great. I just want to do a level past Norune Village, and then I want to talk about it a little bit more. But like, let's do
Demon Souls. Everybody knows my history with Souls games. I think I've said it a million times at this point. But before I even get into this, I have to get into a first world rant just real quick here. I know,
let's do it.
Like, both of you have a PlayStation and an Xbox at this point, right? Are they both hooked up to the same TV?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's my first world problem. And I don't know if it's just my TV or what, but when I always put my PlayStation 5 into sleep mode. I never turn it fully off. It's always sleep mode for me so that I can go right back into the game. The problem is, and again, this is a first world problem. When I turn on my Xbox and my PlayStation is in sleep mode, it automatically switches the input to the PlayStation and my PlayStation turns on as soon as I turn my TV on, every single time. So every time I'm like, I want to play Xbox. Nope, you're playing PlayStation. It's the most annoying thing because then I have to go in and put it back in sleep mode and then switch the input back to the Xbox. It's so stupid, and I apologize that it's such a first world problem, but it annoys me to no end every single day of my life that it does it every time I turn my TV on. There's got to be a way to change it, and apparently it's just me because it doesn't sound like it happens to you guys at all. So I don't know. I have a Samsung, so I don't know.
Is your TV... Oh, I was going to say, is your TV a Sony TV? Because they could be
that would make more sense, right?
It could be.
Where it's like if it's a Sony TV. But anyway,
I have a Sony TV and it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is, but I hate it. Anyway, Demon Souls.
I'll figure it out.
All right. So again, I have tried every single Souls game, and I do mean every single one, and I've never gotten more than like an hour or two in. This one was the one I downloaded off of the PlayStation Plus collection. I was like, I'm going to give it the biggest chance I've ever given a Souls game. I am at the second boss, right? I got through the first boss, which I don't even consider that first boss a boss. It's like a blob that moves around and you have to kill it. But anyway, I thought that was an easy boss. First and foremost, like being able for people to leave notes, like I would be so lost without the notes because I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. The first time I died and you go to, was it like the Nexus? Is that what they call it?
Yep, you got it. Yep.
The Nexus.
Walked around that place for like 20 minutes and then had to look up on YouTube where to go to get back to the world because I had no idea. I was like, where do I go? Like I'm walking up the stairs. I'm like, where's the exit? And then I had to look it up. They're like, oh, you have to talk to this statue. Yeah. I was like, nobody told me. Nobody. I mean, that's a Souls game, right? They don't tell you anything.
That is a Souls game.
I mean, having beaten a boss, right? This is the first time I've gotten to bosses before, but I always give up. I see the appeal of like banging your head against a wall and then figuring it out and getting past the boss and being like, all right, now let's do it all over again in the second area, which is where I'm at now. Like I see the appeal of like figuring out patterns and then like actually having victory. It's a good feeling. I feel like I literally go and explore everywhere. Each section. I was like, let me go everywhere. Oh, cool. This place opened up a shortcut. So next time I can run through here. I like that. But I still feel like I'm not getting anywhere as far as my weapons, my armor, that kind of stuff, right? Like I feel like it's a few far in between getting new stuff. And I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be. But like I was running around with my club forever before I finally got like a sword. Not even a sword. I have a battle axe at this point, and a shield. But I don't know if I'm doing something wrong there. I do feel like for somebody like me, I do need like either a YouTube video playing in the background or somebody who has played it before to be like, all right, now go here. Or like if I get stuck to give me like a subtle push. Because right now I'm just like going places, banging my head against the wall. All right, let me YouTube how to get past this dragon that's lighting everything on fire. Oh, there's a path underneath. Let me go check that out. So I'm going to try my best to get through this game. Like I'm trying. I think the second area, I've gotten to that boss twice and I've died twice. But like, I know how to beat it. I get it now. But it's just like, it's so demoralizing to get to the boss and then die and have to go all the way back and run through and kill everything again. It's just the most like obnoxious thing in the world. And I get that's their thing. They're like, yeah, we're going to make it this way on purpose. So I just don't know that to me, it makes it more rewarding that I have to run through the same 40 guys 75 times before I finally beat that second boss. I know for a lot of people like you guys, like that's cool, but I'm just like, all right, give me a checkpoint before the boss for the love of God. This is so ridiculous. But yeah, maybe I do just need somebody to hold my hand or be like, even if there was something to be like, yeah, I'm struggling with this boss. Maybe you need to upgrade your weapon, something along those lines. Cause I've done that. But then I die and I lose all my souls and then I'm just heartbroken and then I cry. Yeah. And then I'll turn it off and walk away for like 2 hours and then be like, all right, let's go do it again. And I guess that's the loop that everybody likes, right?
Yeah, like the one thing I'll tell you is that like Demon Souls, like they remade that to a fault. Like the Dark Souls games, the Bloodborne, the Elden Ring games, like they're so much better with like checkpoints.
Yeah.
To like, they're at least like halfway to where the boss is, or like right at the boss. Like they're much better at doing that now. Mm-hmm. Where Demon Souls wasn't built like that. Demon Souls was built as one campfire, make it through an area, beat a boss, then you get the next one. Right. There aren't many opportunities, if any at all, where that's otherwise the case. So, like, it's more like a growing pain that you'll have to deal with Demon Souls. Whereas if you started with Dark Souls 2, 3, or Bloodborne, it would probably end up being a little bit easier, just because there is a lot more checkpoints in the world than what Demon Souls is. I will say with Demon Souls, like, you're doing the right thing. The one thing I can suggest is definitely, if you like a weapon or if you want to be like a certain class, like for example, like if you're trying to be a magic user, look at magic user classes. If you're looking to be agile, swift, and like a dodge roller and like running sort of thing, or like there's a class for that. And then the other class is more like the tanky shield with axe. Right. And you're slow, but your stamina is high enough to make up for the fact that you're slow. So there's kind of like a ton of different ways to kind of option for it. I think for you just need to figure out, okay, this is what I want to do. And then it's more or less the points you put in your build rather than the weapon.
Which I haven't even done that at all. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even aware that was a thing yet.
But well, like the leveling up your...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You should have had like a ton of souls to like huge. Level up with.
Yeah, see, the thing is like I have the souls, right? And then like when I got through the first area and then because they don't tell you what you pick up, what it does until you like go into your inventory and look at it. And I was like, oh, okay, like these I can redeem for more souls. So I was doing that. And I was like, oh, I have enough. I was like, I got to get a better weapon because I'm running around with a club. I was like, all right, let me get this axe. So like I spent, a decent amount of souls there. But like I am completely unaware that there's a way to upgrade my stats, and I'm assuming that's somewhere in the Nexus, right?
Talk to the lady with the candle wax on her eyes.
I did, and she told me to run up the stairs.
Yep.
Okay, because you need to talk to somebody up on the top of the stairs.
Okay. All right, well, that would make more. See, that's the thing. Like, you need somebody. If those notes aren't on the floor, like, you need somebody to tell you that. You know what I mean? Because they don't tell you that. They're just like, figure it out, man.
Yeah, no. I'll help you as soon as we're done with the podcast. I'll get on and I'll get you to the point where you can level up your level it up.
Well, now I got to run all the way back to the boss anyway to get my souls back because they're just chilling there because I died.
Yeah, that is an issue you now have to deal with.
You gotta
boy.
Yep, it's a mess, man. It's a mess. I just wish, and I know that's the point of these games, but that's the part that for somebody like me always turns me off is like the basic stuff. You don't need to tell me everything, but tell me the basic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, tell me like, hey, this is you should upgrade your stats. You haven't upgraded your stats yet. Maybe you should go to this person and do that. Like little things that they look at as like, we're not going to put that in there because we enjoy being difficult. And they've said that, right? Like they like being difficult. Yeah. That's part of the fun. It's not. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not. But I will say, as far as Souls games go, having played this one, and obviously like this looks good, so that's a good one to play. I have no desire to play Elden Ring because I have no desire to play a open world version of this at all.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah, I get
None.
it.
I need linear. Yeah. So I won't be playing Elden Ring regardless of if I get through this. I'm like, oh my god, I love Souls games. I won't go to Elden Ring. I promise you.
Just go to Bloodborne. Go to Bloodborne. It's the best out of all of them anyway.
Just go to Bloodborne.
I might do that. I might download that next.
That's what got me onto Souls games.
I'm struggling, but that's okay.
Bloodborne's a little bit of a pain in the neck because it only I'm not sure if you'll notice this, but it runs at 30 FPS, and like all people want for Bloodborne is the 60 FPS update.
Okay.
But they haven't done that yet. But Bloodborne is by far my favorite of all of the Souls games. So
Barry,
what?
That's mine too.
Oh my god.
No, that's mine too. Bloodborne is what got me into Souls games. I played Bloodborne first and then started like toying into Dark Souls and stuff like that.
I like the way Demon Souls looks, the remake version. I like the way it feels, and I enjoy that like linear progression. It's just the small stuff on the side that they don't tell you, and they take joy in the fact that they don't tell you is what bothers me.
Yeah, the fact that you beat that boss without leveling up at all is actually kind of impressive.
I just kept lighting my sword on fire and stabbing it.
Yeah, and you found a weakness for it. That it is impressive that you did that, because a lot of people would have said it's too hard. And the fact that you're at the second boss, and I'm not sure if you figured out his stuff yet.
I did. But
you'll
hit
eventually beat him.
Hit him in the feet until he falls over and stab him in the head. I got that.
You got it.
I just need to apparently upgrade my stats because they probably suck.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely do. I could guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's any consolation, Craig, I also spent about 10 to 15 minutes in the Nexus when I first went, being like, what do I do? You. And that was after playing a Souls game and they don't. Like, I spent a long time in the Nexus. Like, where am I supposed to go? I don't know where to go.
So stupid. But anyway, it's okay. We'll see if this draws me into the Souls games. We'll see. I have them all downloaded on my Xbox. I just never played them. So more than like an hour. But yeah, that's it.
Fingers crossed.
Cool. And that's going to be it for games this week. We have then leftover movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
Just a small thing for me. Top Gun Maverick goes into the $1 billion territory. Incredible kudos.
Ooh.
Yeah.
To a film that only has one other film that was in the 80s,
and it's good.
And it's a really good movie. Like
it is good.
When I heard it hit 1 billion, I was like, wow, like that's something that's like reserved for like the Marvels and the Spider-Mans. Like the fact that it like Top Gun Maverick has done it is very, very well done for like a movie just in general that isn't, a cinematic Marvel Universe movie or anything, or a sequel. This is a sequel, but the sequel was like, almost 30 years ago now. So it's a lot. I think it's different considering everything. So Top Gun Maverick, fantastic. Well done. $1 billion is something to be proud of, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That is. We should call ourselves like nicknames from that movie, just like in celebration. Like somebody be
Maverick.
Goose, somebody be Maverick. Somebody be Ice. Like
Oh boy, like, Iceman didn't age well, that's for sure.
No, it did not.
No, it did. I mean, X-Men it did.
Fair.
But like,
fair.
So a part of me, all I want to do, like, did you guys watch The Boys? Herogasm?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. I was wondering how we were going to be able to talk about it.
I don't think we can.
Honest. Like,
to be completely honest,
it was.
But
great,
like, that's all I wanted to say. Is just like, wow, like, that is.
I know in the past we've gone like episode by episode. Like me and you, Barry, when we were talking about different stuff. But I think at this point, like it almost makes sense to just take a season as a whole when it finishes and then go over it.
That's what I think so too.
Yeah. But yeah, that episode was phenomenal. So cool.
Yeah.
It was.
And
it was so,
and then we have like
so
the big
cool.
So the big finale, the one we can talk about, is Obi-Wan.
Yep. Done with Obi-Wan.
Overall, I feel like, we've had a lot leading up to this final episode here in episode 6. I'm happy with the ending and what they did with it. We got a really cool lightsaber battle with that I think was more technical than like any of the other lightsaber battles. Like Obi-Wan is doing like strange stuff with his lightsaber. Like it's not like episode 3 where they're like whooshing and not hitting each other.
Whooshing.
Like that, yeah, it's
yeah,
it's the only way to describe it, where they're just kind of like showing a bunch of flair and not doing anything. This I think was the most technical and I think probably the most impressive lightsaber fight we've had to date. And that's like right behind the Last Jedi for me. Like that end scene, Last Jedi, man. That was a good scene.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it. I know people hate. I know there's a ton of people that hate Obi-Wan, but I enjoyed it for the fact that I got to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden, and like you don't get to see a lot of Hayden Christensen, but you get to see some of him, and I'm happy about that. You know, those 2 and those 3 movies are like my childhood Star Wars in a way, and I'll always have good memories of those movies. It's just nice to see these 2 reprise those roles and become those characters again. It was worth it.
Yeah, I think it lends to adding credibility to the prequels now, right? Like, I think that end scene, for me, again, I have a very soft spot for the prequels. They were such a big part of, you know, childhood and even into like high school years for me, going to see all those. Yeah, that end scene, that battle, and specifically when the battle's over, is like heartbreaking. But that's what you want. And I just thought it was a extremely well done series. Again, like you said, a lot of people seem like they don't like it. I think it was very well done. It was written very well, tying in the prequels and also into the originals. You get to, obviously, the originals had none of this in mind when George Lucas originally made this stuff, but tying into like, you can dive so far into being like, oh, now it makes sense when in A New Hope, when Darth Vader meets Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan doesn't really fight back and just kind of sacrifices himself. It all makes sense now. They did a good job of tying it together. The only thing, speaking of like Hayden and the fact that he's getting the recognition I think that he's always deserved, because he got so much hate for the prequels. It's nice to see him getting the recognition for putting out a killer performance as Anakin and Darth Vader. There's only one thing I need from the prequels, somewhere down the line, that they can make better for me, and that is to do something. And I am serious. Like, they need to do something with Jar Jar Binks, specifically for the fact that Ahmad Best, right, the guy who did the motion capture and voice for Jar Jar Binks, also got so much hate for that character, and I don't think he ever deserved it. So if they could find a way to bring him back as well somewhere, I think he deserves it, because he put his soul into Jar Jar Binks, and he just continuously gets hated on for that character. And it's not his fault. It's the way it was written.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the only person I need to be fixed.
Redeemed.
Yeah, he needs to be redeemed, because I still to this day feel so bad for him. I like Jar Jar Binks. He was a comedy character. What more do you what did you want him to do with that character, with the way George Lucas wrote it? But yeah, Obi-Wan, man, phenomenal.
Yeah, isn't
you're good.
So you just reminded me of something, isn't, because like Jar Jar Binks, I'm pretty sure is like one of the most hated characters in cinema in general, like just in like overall cinema.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact
like
that,
that's a very interesting.
I was gonna say, I just think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people think it was like stupid to like have him in and make him such like a critic. Like, he was a critical role in episode 1, and I think it was fine in episode 1 with what he did. Like, he's kind of like the clumsy, oh, I made a good mistake sort of thing. And I do agree.
I am not a Sith.
I agree with him. Yeah. I agree with Craig in that, like, I wish he would be redeemed. Like, in the Clone Wars, he's not terrible.
Yeah.
But it would just be nice that, we got Ewan and Hayden redeemed. I just don't know what they like. People have such a hatred for Jar Jar that I don't know if anything he would do, even if it was like this fantastic series that somehow redeemed him, people would end up like, oh man, like, Jar Jar is now totally justified.
Can you imagine if they found a way to do a series based on Jar Jar, like before he met Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon? Like people, there'd be so much hate for that, but I would be all about it. I would be there day one to watch that.
It has the potential to be like funny.
Can they do like a young Jar Jar, but like they have like him have like a Morgan Freeman-esque voice until something happens in his life that changes his voice to current Jar Jar? Like, just like, could he have like a smooth? I'm sorry.
Or what? I mean, even if they could find, not necessarily Jar Jar, but if they could find a way to bring Ahmed Best into the Star Wars universe again as a different character, where he could not do like a CGI character, but him himself, like let him be in a Star Wars role somehow, I think that would be fair too, right? To be like, he is a good actor. Yeah. He did what was asked of him. And I mean, I watch those prequels at least once a year, and I don't think the Jar Jar character is terrible. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That was way off track.
That's all right. It happens.
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. So what? Like, did you? That's all I really watched this week. I'm not sure what you guys watched movie wise.
It was all for me. It was The Boys, which we'll talk about when we're done, and then Obi-Wan, and then I'm still watching Miss Marvel. But again, I'm going to wait till that's done too.
Exactly. I agree with that. What about you, Craig?
So the only other thing I watched this week, we could talk about it with The Boys, but it's that animated series that's also kind of accompanied, but like not accompanied.
The Diabolical. I think.
Diabolical. Yeah. I finished it in like an hour. We could cluster it all together, but I just love that The Boys is making such an impact in the television streaming scenario, that they're getting a collection of like a Seth Rogen executive produced, but you got like Aisha Taylor and oh my God, Warhammer, Don Cheadle. Yep. You have Don Cheadle and Aisha Taylor who voices Alana on Archer in one episode. And then like the next episode you got like Aquafina.
That one was wild.
And then like that one was wild, and I love the 12-minute segments. I love, like, the first episode was very Looney Toony for me. That type of animation, like they have different animations going, and it's like, what if I got together with a bunch of like comedic friends and writers and such like that, and I said, like, what would be funny? But like, it can't be an episode of The Boys because The Boys is following a specific storyline. But like, what if we had like a 15-minute thing where we like try to like make it real funny really quickly? So like, that's what I watch. I mean, you could easily watch it in like an hour, but it is a fantastic animated series, and I've been on kind of like an animated kick. So like, it definitely suited like what I've been looking for.
Careful, you're getting very close to that corner, Craig. Don't go into that corner. Barry lives there in Barry's corner.
What corner is that,
away.
Craig?
It's dark and scary. Don't go down there.
Like the thing for Diabolical for me is that Diabolical, like, it's kind of like a haze now almost because I've seen so much like stuff. But I remember like the Aisha Taylor, the Aquafina episode. Like I remember pretty vividly, as you mentioned.
That was the poop
first
one.
Episode. Yeah, the poop one.
That was the poop.
There are some good episodes in there. Like the only thing like about the Diabolicals is there are definitely other ones, like the whole like Misfits episode I'm starting to remember now with like getting kicked out by your parents. Like
that one was really funny.
See, I didn't resonate with that one as well. Like there are definitely not as good ones just because like they're 15 minutes. They all have their own separate direction. So you have to kind of feel for a character and understand a character and want to get the jokes or everything all within 15 minutes, which is a little bit harder to do than trying to do something in an hour or 30 minutes as well. So, overall, Diabolical was pretty good. It's just a matter of, and it's the same thing with Star Wars Visions, is there's some really good episodes and there's some, ones that don't hit or resonate very well. And that's because you don't have the same characters going from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way. I thought it was hit or miss. For sure.
Yeah. Overall, they're enjoyable. There's definitely some that you're going to like more than others. I mean, like that one with the Misfits. Are you a Rick and Morty fan?
I've never watched Rick and Morty.
I'm pretty sure that. Okay, so that one was done specifically by Justin Roiland.
Oh, okay.
Like it was written by the dude who writes Rick and Morty. So like that one, I mean, I'm pretty sure I heard either Morty's voice or a variation in one of the characters. So like there's a mixed bag for everybody. Like some people don't like Archer. If you don't like Archer, you don't even know who Alana sounds like. And Alana essentially was in that episode in that specific one with Don Cheadle. So like it's a nice bag though of like different people doing different things. Like one episode was written by Alana Glazer, which if you don't know her stand up, then you haven't seen oh my god, what's the one she does with Abby? It's the there's that show that she's in and it's escaping me right now, and I've literally seen every episode, so it's blowing my mind. But in any case, like she's got a specific like comedic style with her as well, and it's a nice mixed bag of different minds working on it. So like I like it. It's also nice to just kind of watch while you're waiting for the boys to come out. You know, with every episode.
I mean, that's what we did because we had talked about it earlier when it first came out. That was like a good in between waiting for the new season to start. I was like, oh, I can watch Diabolical and that'll kind of tie me over on my boys fix. I need to hear that splatter noise every so often.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's
okay.
all.
That'll be it for the podcast, guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate all the support we've been getting, and if you feel so inclined, please share it with your friends and please review it on your preferred listening platform of choice. We hope you like the new logo as well. If you're interested in emailing us or giving us questions or anything like that, we have an email at highsensitivitypodcast@gmail.com. Please make sure that Please make sure that you subscribe and like the video. Make sure you share it with your friends or share it on your media profile if you feel so inclined. But yeah, from all of us, Craig's been a big addition. We really appreciate him joining on here. And it's been a big help that people have been wanting to listen and have been liking all the new changes we're making. Just stick for it because, as we mentioned, season 3, it's kind of like a building season for me where I'm getting into my editing grind and getting better at editing. So hopefully it makes the videos a little bit more enjoyable and a lot less technically difficult. So, appreciate all the patience that we've had. And so thank you. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
Bye, guys.